to the Builure Pearl, your go-to destination for all things Salesforce. I'm your host, Inshu Misra, founder and director at Builure with more than 30 years of experience within the Salesforce ecosystem. Join us as we explore a day in the life of Salesforce professionals. From Salesforce DevOps architects to CRM analytics specialists, we'll uncover the insights, challenges, and triumphs that define their daily experiences. So get ready for engaging conversations, expert insights, and actionable advice to boost your Salesforce journey. Whether you're looking to advance your career, streamline your processes, or simply stay ahead of the curve, join us on this exciting exploration of the Salesforce ecosystem. We have Cheryl Nash here, a messenger of opportunity. Cheryl has been in the talent sourcing domain for many, many years, and we're so thankful that she agreed to sharing her journey with us. So, without much delay, let's talk about her. Welcome, Cheryl. Please introduce yourself and tell us the beginning of your journey in sourcing Salesforce talent.
Oh, thank you. That's lovely, Inshu, and I love being here. Look, I've been a search consultant for many years, always working in technology sectors and always working in technology sectors where demand outstrips supply. So always a little bit difficult, a little bit of a challenge. That just meant that when I first started as an executive search consultant, I didn't get much from advertising. You would advertise and maybe there'd be some low hanging fruit, but no, typically demand outstripping supply means that there's no one coming in from the media at that point in time. And therefore we had to rely on networking. We had to rely on getting to know the right people. So in 2015, I was invited to come into a Salesforce practice that I think when I walked in the door was about 8 and we built it to about 58. And during that time, I had to ring. I had to find mobile numbers and ring who could ring, who could ring. And I was used to it. I loved it. And therefore, I started to build quite a significant network and a network of quality people who I know would pick up the phone to me if I was calling. And therefore, we learned to have conversations with Salesforce talent. We learned that you had to expand the network and we learned a lot about projects as well. So the one thing that I found really interesting couple of years into sourcing Salesforce talent was that I began conversations with my clients about immigration and how easy it was to do the costings of immigration. We had to do it. There was no two ways about it. And also we then, I had a very progressive Salesforce partner that I was working for. And together with another Salesforce partner, they brought in a program to cross-train women and bring them from SAP, from generic business analyst across into Salesforce. That was one of the most rewarding experiences that I have been through because you could see that they were gobbling up Trailhead learning, being so a sense of achievement and of course, then getting the monetary rewards that they deserved in that cross-skilling. So that was my beginning of my journey into Salesforce, which was for me back in 2015.
Amazing. And your dedication is like truly commendable. And it actually reflects your exceptional expertise as well. With like understanding the intricacies of the ecosystem. So getting more women on board is my personal target as well. Like I want to mentor as many women as possible to, explore the amazing career that they can get within the Salesforce ecosystem. So hats off. Let's talk about today, and how the journey of being acquisition specialist has changed or evolved over the years.
Big time. It's actually big time. So, of course, continuing through 2015 into COVID and 2021, there was a plethora of projects. There was too many projects for everybody. And during that time, Salesforce talent actually recognized their worth and increased their rates and became quite expensive commodities. And in that regards, the Salesforce partners hurt a little bit because they could see that some of the major banks were, and likewise organizations were being able to cope with the high rates, but it was very difficult. So in 2024, we have a different landscape. We've been through, I wouldn't call it 2023 a recession, but it was a restructure of let's take a step back. Let's look at the economy. We're frightened. We're going to put projects on hold. We're going to go into head freezes. And all of a sudden, we saw people in the market. We saw people having to go home that were on, 457 visas or 482 visas. So it's changed. And now we can look at LinkedIn as a very valuable tool, because within LinkedIn, we can see people who unfortunately have been made redundant, and they put a little sign up on their LinkedIn, or they reach out, or you can put a post up on LinkedIn and you get response. And it's a different way of working. It's equally as enjoyable. It's the first time in the Salesforce history that I've actually seen resources available. And of course, with that has come a correction in salaries and rates, which is great for the world, because it was getting to a stage where the partners were finding it a little bit difficult to have comfortable margins in their project work. So, I remember SAP going through this. And it was a readjustment, and in the long term, it was a positive readjustment. So to me, 2024, it's opening up cautiously, and it's a positive. It's readjusted itself, and it's very positive. And I think that as time moves on, and the economy keeps looking as it is, we'll see a lot more opportunities as well this year.
Yeah, that's a really good insight. And using LinkedIn was like it's becoming, an imperative for professional growth and collaboration. So we should learn networking in like other than learning the technical skills that people focus on. You should also learn the art of communication and art of networking. That is also a major skill set that is required for getting any job, not only within Salesforce ecosystem, but yeah.
I think one of the most important qualities that I always love to expand on is storytelling. So if I don't have the right client, I don't have the right story. And if I don't have the right candidate, I don't have the right story. And I really love storytelling. It's so important. You're going to talk to me about the clients, etc. And a pitch to clients all over, organizations all over, is when you find like Salesforce in particular, talent acquisition specialist, make them the right arm of business. Because guess what? They're the first door opener. They're the first door opener. So, an organization or a sales organization will skill up their pre-sales consultants, because that's what they want their pre-sales people to do. They're going to walk through the door. They're going to have the story, and they're going to woo everybody. If you don't nurture your talent acquisition specialist to do the same, then your branding is not going to be good.
Yeah, that's true. And that make me ask you another question. Like, what do you think makes a Salesforce talent acquisition specialist different from other talent acquisition experts that we have in the market?
Okay. So there's two types of recruiters.
Yeah.
And one of them is the bulk recruiters, which is a very different role, and we should have totally different titles for this. So I have actually been involved in a client that brought me in for a major tender, and it was the other style of recruitment. So you'd walk in the morning, you'd sit down, you brace yourself with a cup of coffee, definitely, and you would open up Seek. And if you got between 55 and 80 applications, that was your role for the morning, and you'd sit through. Guess what you're looking at? You're looking at words, experience. You're looking at the toolkit, and there'd be so much of the toolkit that you just pull out keywords from the toolkit, go, you beauty. Okay, well, I'll have a quick call and put them out. And you leave it up to the client to do the rest of the sifting. But with a Salesforce TA, you have to be knowledgeable on what you're talking about. You also have to know who out there in the world. There's good, there's average, there's not so average. And you need to keep your reputation very clean and very well respected by having a quality network. So really a quality network is key.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Like at least within the Salesforce ecosystem, when we are having, events, yeah, every week in
Yeah.
every region, there are so many
Yes.
user groups running.
Yeah.
Networking is certainly the key, and that's something that all of you should focus on. The
Yeah.
networking is the key.
Yeah.
So let's move on to your typical day. Can you walk us through
Yes.
a typical day in your role as a Salesforce talent
Okay.
acquisition
Yeah, I'm
specialist?
fine with that. So look, I
Mhm.
begin my day with a yoga stretch. I then go and make myself a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And I browse through LinkedIn. I use the quiet time of day where I hear nothing but the birdies singing to
Yeah.
search, to get the search. You have your roles. The quiet time of the morning is for me is to reach out and do the searches. And so by doing that, I have my little list by a really early time in the morning of the people that I want to call and or reach out to. So I also go through the posts on LinkedIn to keep me informed about where people are and the knowledge that I can read. So that's how I begin my day. And from there, I just go with the flow. It's a matter of calling, messaging, making appointments, talking to clients. Yep. And, that's typically what my each day does. On a Friday, I usually summarize everything and tidy things up and step out of work at about 2 p.m. as an important
Thanks.
break. Because I mean, talent acquisition and same with most of who we're relating to here today, Inshu, do not work 8:30 to 5. We have to
Yeah,
pick up the
that's
phone
true.
to other time zones. We have children,
Mm.
me
Wow.
doing search at 5:30 in the morning over a cup of coffee. You just do it. So therein lies the flexibility. But I would assume that most talent acquisition specialists who are good at what they do would put in easy 60 hours a week.
If I
Mm.
start calculating my work hours, um, they will also be way above 40 hours. But then I don't feel worked up because I manage it flexibly. And that's the beauty of having a proper routine that you don't, even if you're working more, you don't feel like working more. You should
No,
not feel like working
no,
more. Um, you know,
no, that's another
yeah,
conversation because if you're happy with your job, there's this thing, positive addiction. I don't have a problem with that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Same with me.
yeah, if you love what you do, it's fun.
Yeah. Moving on to my next question. What do you look? We mentioned about your clients. What do you look for when you choose your client?
Into this is a really important part. This is the entire focus of my life. I look for genuine partnerships, and they're hard to find. They really are hard to find. And where my clients value my expertise that I can bring to the table, and where I enjoy being part of their team, not them, not me, then part of their team, a valuable extension to the business. Because guess what? Back to that storytelling. It gives you
Yeah.
the story, it gives you energy, excitement that you want to share with the people that you're trying to sort of have a conversation about. This client is great. Um, an exciting brand, a healthy culture, values are becoming more and more and more important to everybody. So the story needs to be great overall and where you are proud to represent your client. And interestingly, I sometimes think when I've hopped off a call and thought, gee, I represented my client really well there. Sometimes I wish they were listening to me. It's quirky, isn't it? But just sometimes
Yeah.
we we do take a lot of effort in representing the clients we love. And I've got to love
Yeah.
client. The next thing that I think is really important and one is a big, big message to most organizations that are recruiting. It's vital
Mm.
for us to know the project, every technical attribute, the team dynamics, the urgency of the role, the salary guidelines. Without
Mm.
all these components, you have a square peg in a round hole. And
Yeah.
putting candidates on edge that they're going for a job that they're most probably maybe 10% suited for. The client, on the other hand, is getting CVs going, oh, it's not quite right. And I'm missing the mark. And I don't like it. I don't like it all.
Yeah.
It must be, we have to have all the information in order for that client and the candidate to have the true marriage, without, overextending this recruitment that the clients have to go through, and also the feelings of the candidates that you're working for. And also, we need to be market consultants, bringing back research on where salary levels are. And there's a number of organisations and partners that mostly go out to market. They put together the quote, the tender process, and they haven't quite added in the fact that the rates are at a certain level. And so,
Yeah.
of course, when it comes to market and they've won the bid, you go, I can't provide you with that resource for that price. Therefore,
Mm.
it's a lose-lose for everybody involved. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I love to be close to clients. I love belonging to the world of their organization.
Yeah, and that actually, you highlighted a really good point, because when you understand their experiences by understanding their story, it's the half battle won. Because as you said, that if their budget is not up to the market standard, you can advise them, and that's where they need that sort of
Oh, yeah.
experience,
Yeah.
expertise in this domain. People
Yes.
say that, like I've heard people talking about, anyone can be a talent acquisition specialist if they have a good network. No, they can't be. They have to understand the intricacies of that market, and they need to understand and because we're working with people, so they need to understand their behaviors and what drives people to, choose a certain kind of role. And if a recruiter knows all these things, and that's when they become a specialist from my perspective.
Gordon, I actually have a very strong client that
Mhm.
believes in talent optimization. So for every candidate that I say, you've got the toolkit, I have a heart for you. I'm excited to put you through to this role. They have profiled the strengths that they believe the person requires personally, so that we
Wow.
take them through a behavioral profile, and it takes about 5 minutes, and comes back with the sort of person, yes, I need instructions. No, leave me on my own. I have an eye for detail. No, I'm a collaborator, or, I'm a persuader, but don't worry about the detail. That's sort of me. Uh, but you know who you're dealing with, and it helps the team
Yeah.
gel, helps them collaborate, and helps the managers understand how to manage their people and reverse. And that's mostly one of my most exciting clients when I do that. Yeah, I love it because it
Yeah.
just puts the stamp on what you're feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. If you understand your client, like basically working with people. When we are
Yeah,
working with
that's
humans, we
right.
should at least know how human behaviors function. So moving on to our next question. What trends do you see in 2024
Okay, we just
within the Salesforce
covered
ecosystem?
briefly about the cautiously opening up to the
Yeah.
project work, and it's happening, but it's very corporations are carefully measuring the state of the economy.
Mm.
And that's,
Yeah.
to me, this is me talking here, is giving rise to more contractor services. It's the
Yeah.
comfort of knowing that the contractor can come in, do the
Mm.
work,
Yeah.
and know that when the contract is over, as much as they may not want these people to go because they're really good at what they do, whatever, they've done well, they've
Mm.
bought their program of work, but they know that it can end. And it gives the corporations a little bit more confidence and comfort. So overall, cautious growth, definitely a rise back in the contractor services, but also a major emphasis on the healthy work environment, major
Yeah.
emphasis on benefits, healthy work environment. And, when they are recruiting for permanent experience, they want to know they can sustain. So companies are waking up to the fact that, what can I do to make life good? to be the healthy work-life balance. You've got a sick child, you can work at home. You've got a concert on for the kids. There's a sporting event. You can, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so, I do see 2024 as being the year of the rise of the contractors and a focus on healthy work environment.
That's a really good insight. Uh, so coming to an end, any advice that you would like to share with someone starting their journey or like maybe transitioning to a role that is known as Salesforce, the talent acquisition specialist?
Yes. Wow. If you're starting out as in recruitment, make sure you have a great mentor. Make sure it. Would you believe? Have you heard of the electrician's house? The electrician's house often has loose wires all over it, and for us recruiters, I found it the hardest role to recruit for. The recruiter, I found it the hardest. But look, when you join the Salesforce environment here, networking, be energetic and go to the meetups, learn as much as you can. And the Trailhead, I recommend Trailhead for learning. I love it. And it gives you a reason to post what you've just achieved and let all your network know that, wow, I just got the sysadmin cert, or I just did my, 20th at Trailhead, look at me type thing. And it's good because you've got a conversation to have. You can talk intelligently with people, which I think is important. Be empathetic, listen, learn, do relevant postings on LinkedIn, and be organized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's actually a skill that I need to learn. Be organized. And I think most of us need to learn that skill because organizational skills are really important for excelling in any job that you're doing. So that's a really good advice. I hope people can learn something about this amazing role after listening to this conversation.
I think we've had a brilliant conversation, Inshu.
Thank you for tuning into the Builure Pulse. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as I did. If you found value in today's episode, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving us a review on your preferred platform. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners like you. Follow us on our socials for more resources and updates on upcoming episodes. Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Join us on social media, join the Builure community to continue the discussion and connect fellow Salesforce enthusiasts. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep growing in the world of Salesforce. Thank you for listening.